Okay, guys, I think we can start. We can get started. Well, first of all, thank you very much. There's a lot of people connected with us via Facebook and via Zoom. This makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm sure as soon as the wine will flow into my veins, it will be a little bit more. I will loosen up a little bit more. Okay, beautiful. There's another people coming in. Okay, I think everyone is in. We started 8 minutes late, which for Italian schedule, I mean, it's a pretty amazing time. Usually for an Italian being only 8 minutes late, it's no big deal. I mean, it's quite an achievement. So welcome everyone to this Brunello di Montalcino 2015 Masterclass virtual tasting. I'm so glad we managed to pull this off, and I'm so glad that many of you guys joined this beautiful wine tasting, and I really hope you will have a great time. So this is the first wine tasting of a series of events that we decided to do for this fall and winter. For obvious reason, we cannot taste the wines together in the same room. So, but we'll be tasting the wines, together at the same moment. So thanks God for technology, really. Um, we're not living the best time. Our countries, both Italy, Europe, and United States, as you might know, uh, COVID, the second wave of COVID has hit Europe pretty bad recently. So we are about to face another lockdown, but we have plenty of wine. So don't worry. All right. Okay, so I was saying this is the very first event of our masterclass series. Every other Sunday we're gonna have an event. So November 15th we're gonna have the Super Tuscan Masterclass. On November 29th, the Amarone Masterclass. On December 13th, the Barolo and Barbaresco Masterclass. And the last one of the year is gonna be on the 27th of December, and it's going to be the Chianti Classico and Vino Nobile Masterclass to finally finish this 2020. I start over with hopefully a much better year, 2021. So I just a few seconds to tell you what we'll be doing. I know you guys have opened the wines already. I will start with a little presentation, which is going to be about 20 minutes. I'm going to give you a background of what we are tasting, and I'm going to explain you why Brunello di Montalcino, from such a small village, such a small town, became such an iconic and amazing wine, appreciated by the best, by all the wine lovers from all over the globe. So we're going to analyze the phenomenon of the Brunello di Montalcino, the qualities, the terroir, the people, the history of it. And then I'm going to introduce two amazing guests, such as Tommaso Squarcia from Castello Tricerchi and Guido Dispenza from Castiglion del Bosco. They're going to help me with this beautiful virtual tasting. And then after I introduce the guests, I will let you guys do your questions, and you can also activate your video if you want to ask any question to me or to two amazing special guests that we have for tonight. Okay, so at the moment I will start with the presentation. Okay, let's see. You should see my screen now and my ugly face just on a small side of the screen. I drink some water. I prefer wine, but then this wine tasting will become a shit show if I start drinking from the beginning. Okay, so there you go. This is the presentation. It's loading, just a second. There should be a video in the background. This is like Steven Spielberg at its finest. Academy Award for Best Brunello Presentation ever. Okay. Okay, so Perbacco Wine Club. For the ones that are not members of the wine club, I am the Perbacco Wine Club. I am the representative of the Perbacco Wine Club and the Osteria del Borgo in Montepulciano, Italy. So Brunello di Montalcino 2015, a perfect vintage. We will be analyzing the aspects that made this vintage so amazing. Okay, with the background of the beautiful little town of Montalcino and the tower of the town hall, we have this, the screen, Brunello, one of the most iconic wines in the world. So we'll be analyzing from how did the wine from such a small town in Tuscany became a globally known brand? From the 14th century to a global distribution, now sold in the best restaurants in the world and appreciated by all the fine wine lovers of the planet. I don't remember the next screen. I never remember. So this is going to be a surprise for me as well. Okay. So with the background of the beautiful fortress of Montalcino, located right on the top of the hill of this beautiful town in the heart of Tuscany, we have a few technical details and a few rules that the appellation of Brunello di Montalcino, that has very strict rules, like all the appellations in Europe, but particularly in Italy, all the strict rules that the Consortium di Montalcino, the Consortium of the Brunello, which is the organization that takes care of the quality and of the branding of the Brunello. So they define these quality standards that are very strict. First of all, the aging. Aging for the Brunello is 50 months, traditionally 3 years in large barrels for the old school. The new school of the Brunello usually sees 2 years of French oak. So it's whether 3 years of big oak from Slovenia or 2 years of small barrels from France, usually. So 50 months is the longest, is the appellation in Italy with the longest minimum aging requirements. So think about the investment. Many people ask, why is Brunello so expensive? Think about the investment a winery is doing. So you buy the winery, a piece of land, which is very expensive nowadays. Consider 1 hectare has an average of 750,000 euros per hectare as an average. So it's very expensive. Think about the investment. They have to pay the equipment, they have to build the cellar, and they have to buy the right equipment, and they have to pay the people that do the harvest. And they release the wine from now. So let's say, as an example, they pick the grapes in October 2020. They have to wait 50 months of aging. So the wine will be released only in January 2025. So this is one of the factors that gives a big contribution of the price of the Brunello di Montalcino. Even more for the Reserva, 1 year later. So more than 5 years for the Brunello, 62 months for the Reserva. Another factor is the altitude. The altitude has to be in between 149 meters and 500 meters above sea level. Lower than 149 and higher than 500 meters, you cannot make Brunello di Montalcino. And this is the most important factor, the real protagonist of Brunello di Montalcino, which is the Sangiovese. The requirement is 100% Sangiovese. Sangiovese is a family, is a family that has different kind of clones, different kind of grape varietals. The clone in Montalcino, the only clone allowed is the Brunello clone, selected by Mr. Ferruccio Biondisanti in the late 19th century. Montepulciano, for instance, has a Prugnolo Gentile clone of the Sangiovese, which is slightly different. Well, we'll be analyzing the differences between Brunello and Vino Nobile. So the surface of Montalcino, 1/3 of the surface of the municipality of Montalcino is covered by vineyards, which is 3,500 hectares, 8,700 acres. And we have nearly 250 producers. So there are some producers that only have 4 or 5 acres. So very, very family-run businesses, such as a couple of the wines that we'll be tasting tonight. We're talking about a volume of 9 million bottles for the Brunello, 4 million bottles for the Rosso di Montalcino, which is the younger brother of the Brunello, so-called baby Brunello, released after 1 year. So we're talking about a volume of 200 millions of US dollars, 180 millions of euros. So we're talking about, big money for the Brunello. Oh, this is my favorite. Okay, the climate of Montalcino, you have 4 factors that give a huge contribution to the climate of Montalcino and make it so unique. These are the factors that, you know, step up the game in Montalcino together with the terroir, together with the beautiful soil of Montalcino. The first factor is the Tyrrhenian Sea, which is located not far from Montalcino, about 20-25 miles. And you have Montalcino, and then you have a valley that is called, towards west, that is called Maremma. So it's pretty flat. And in Montalcino, you get a lot of breeze when, especially during the summer, in August and September, the breeze blows from west, from the Tyrrhenian Sea. A few people say, but it's not scientifically proved, that you have some of the breeze from the sea give a contribution to the minerality of the wine. I don't know if it's science, but I like it to think it this way. It's very charming. I don't know. I'm a very romantic guy. Ask Mary. Okay, the second factor is the Orcia River, the river that, you know, gives birth to the most beautiful valley we have in Tuscany, probably the Orcia Valley, that goes from, you know, Pienza, from Montepulciano, actually Pienza, San Quirico, towards the Amiata Mountain and Montalcino. The Orcia River is located in the flat lands of Montalcino, but gives a big contribution in terms of water, especially with the climate change. The weather is becoming warmer and warmer. All the water from the Orcia River is absorbed by the soil in an appellation that, you know, doesn't allow irrigation at all, because we cannot irrigate in our appellations in Italy. If you have a dry vintage such as 2017, the vines will struggle a little bit. So it's nice to have some water on the soil. Third factor, the forest. There are a lot of trees in Montalcino. So 1/3 of the surface is covered by vines, by vineyards, and almost the 2/3 are covered by a little bit of crops, but mostly forest. There's a lot of trees that give very nice temperature swing in between day and night, and release cool air in the warm summers in Montalcino. The fourth factor is the Amiata. The Amiata mountain is one of the highest mountains that we have, almost 1 mile high, more than 1 mile high, 1,730 something meters above sea level. The Amiata mountain has three functions for Montalcino. First of all, it works as a shield for bad weather. So whenever there's a ugly precipitation like a hailstorm or big thunderstorms, the Amiata has a function of a magnet, and it gets all the clouds focused onto the Amiata mountain. So Montalcino doesn't get big precipitations or hailstorm. The second function is that the Amiata mountain releases a very cool breeze in the summertime that helps developing the temperature swings in between day and night that develop a beautiful aroma in the wine and a perfect ripening of the grape. The third function of the Amiata mountain is that the Amiata is a former volcano, and some of the explosions of the Amiata mountain spread some volcanic ashes in some spots in Montalcino. So you have some wines in Montalcino that can be considered almost, volcanic. We're halfway through, guys. The terroir. So the terroir of Montalcino is unique. It's mostly clay, and there are a lot of stones, challenging the vines to go deep into the soil. So the vines, they thrive in difficult circumstances, because in difficult soils, the vines are challenged. They are forced to go deep down into the soil with the roots and to get the good stuff, to get the mineral, to get more complexity, to get more intensity as well. So there are 4 types of soils in Montalcino mostly. The galestro, which is the union of clay and a few stones, mostly chalk and marl. You can take a galestro stones and you can crush them with your hands, and they will become, almost powder. And that helps the wines to develop beautiful minerality and savoriness, and also the vines to get draining in the vineyards when it rains a lot. You have limestone, which is typical from the southern side of Montalcino, that gives big wines with big intensity, and also generous in alcohol. You have Alberese stone. The Alberese stone is used to build most of the buildings in Montalcino. because it's the main stone that you can find in Montalcino. So if you analyze churches and main buildings in the historical center, that they are built with this kind of stone. So the Alberese stone is very important because it accumulates the heat during the day and it gently releases through the night. So very important in winter time when the temperature might get below zero. And then you have the volcanic soil that we talked about with the Amiata Mountain that gives this nice graphite minerality to the wine and this beautiful complexity. Okay. Really, this is Steven Spielberg at its finest. Look at the graphics. So here we have Montalcino. This is the map with all the more than 250 something producers. Here are the wines that we'll be tasting today and where they are located. If you follow the arrow of my mouse, we can divide with a cross Montalcino into four areas. You have this side, which is northeast, where Castello Tricerchi is located. So wines are more lean, more elegant. There's a lot of stones here as well. Southeast, facing the Orcia Valley, where Mastroianni is, to get more sun exposure, mostly limestone, big wines with big personality and very nice complexity. Then you have this side right here is southwest, which is the warmest side of Montalcino, with a lot of exposure to the sun during the warmest days of the day. And then you have the northwest side where Castiglion del Bosco is located. Castiglion del Bosco is the winery with the widest area because there's a big forest where the owner Massimo Ferragamo loves to go hunting as well. They have a beautiful golf course that is just mind-blowing. So for the four sides of Montalcino, you have unbelievable views, beautiful views over the Val d'Orcia, over the Amiata in the south, and over Siena in the north, and over the Maremma in the west. Okay, Brunello di Montalcino, the wine and the brand, old school versus new school. So we see this gentleman right here. This is Mr. Ferruccio Biondisanti, the inventor of Brunello, as we know it. He selected the clone of Sangiovese in the 19th century and defined its longevity, the longevity of the Brunello and the quality standards of the wine. He was the one that had the vision that the Brunello could compete with the best wines of the world at the time, meaning Bordeaux and Champagne, because at the time they were the most important wines of Europe, of the world as well. And he defined also the longevity, because now we are tasting wines that are 50 years old and they're amazing to drink because the Sangiovese has an incredible aging potential. To the right, you see the Mariani family, the owners of Banfi. So while the Biondisanti family created the wine, the Mariani family from Banfi, they created the brand and they helped developing the brand of the Brunello from the 70s. They're an Italian-American family who had a business vision. It's one of the most commercial wineries. They make amazing wines that are sold in all the countries. It's unbelievable the distribution that they have all over the world, because they were the first ones to knock on the doors of the best and most important restaurants and wine distributors all over the world, not just in America itself, but also South America, Australia, even some parts in Africa, like South Africa, Northern Africa, and Asia. They invested a lot on Asia as well. So they developed, they helped develop the brand of the Brunello. Oh, who's this handsome guy right here? Holding this beautiful bottle of Biondisanti Reserva 55. So I talked about longevity. The aging potential of the Brunello is unbelievable. Brunello can last for decades. The oldest bottles available are from 1881, made by Biondisanti, and they are now in the estate, in the personal cellar of Biondisanti. I had the honor of seeing them, and it was just mind-blowing how a bottle that is 140 years old is still bright, it's got acidity, and is still potable, still drinkable, and still amazing. The Reserva Biondisanti 1955 is known for being the best wine ever made in Montalcino and in Italy, and it made it to the top 12 wines of the 20th century in the world by Wine Spectator at the end of the last century. So this is the bottle that I had once. Look at my happy face here holding it. You should have seen my face when I sold the bottle to a gentleman. Uh, it was, I'm not going to reveal the price, but I'm going to tell you that that wasn't shit. All jokes aside. I'm not going to bore you too much. Just, a few more minutes and then we'll start popping the bottles. Okay, this is the contraposition in between a young Brunello and an aged Brunello. So what should you expect today? Today you are expecting this side. So this kind of color, red ruby with bright acidity, beautiful intensity. This is a young Brunello, fruity, vibrant, exuberant. So you have nuances of, young fruit like cherry, dried cranberry, strawberry, blackberry, violet, which is typical of the Sangiovese, potpourri, licorice, espresso, teal soil, and high tannins. Well, the wines today are not too tannic because the 6 wines that we'll be tasting are slightly tannic. But, as long as the wine ages within 15 years, 20 years, 30, 40 years from now, you will be more on this side, obviously. The wine will become more complex, deep, leathery. The color will become a little bit more brownish. So guess what the translation in English for the word Brunello is? Brownish, because this is the color of Brunello, which is slightly almost brown, almost like we call it brick brown, like a brick. So candied cherry, dried fig, anise, hazelnuts, leather, chocolate, dried rose, and more refined tannin. Of course, lower acidity, but more complexity. Old school versus new school. So this is now, socially accepted to be lovers of both categories. But in the end of the 80s or beginning of the 90s, there was almost a war in between the two schools that started particularly in the Barolo appellation. Old school versus new school, mostly Slovenian oak, Italian oak, Slovenian oak versus French oak. So old school is the aging for the Brunello is 3 years in large barrels. So this wine will be on the elegant side, offering a mix of cherry and plum fruit notes along with leather, earth, tobacco flavors in a firm and linear style. The aging potential on this one is a little bit higher. They're a little bit more acidic now when they're young, but incredible aging potential. While the new school, which is represented by Banfi, I did the same, contraposition in between Biondi Santi and Banfi that represent the two uh, equally amazing style of the Brunello di Montalcino. They aged the wine for 2 years in barrique, French oak. You have loads of blackberry, big concentration, currant, and roasted oak. The aging potential is slightly lower, I would say 15 years minimum, but more ready to drink now when it's young. We're almost done, guys. 2015, a 5 stars vintage. So we are analyzing, a vintage that was rated that was awarded the 5 stars by the consortium of the Brunello and the experts of the consortium of the Brunello and a lot of journalists as well, which had great climatic conditions for a broad and balanced Brunello. So perfect climate during the summer with a perfect ratio of precipitations and sunny weather, with the breeze from the sea and from the Amiata mountain, as you remember, to guarantee temperature swings, ideal for an healthy ripening of the aromatic compounds of the grape. So the wines, we're expecting to have wines that are powerful, fruit forward, but extremely balanced with beautiful acidity and velvety tannins. So long shelf life for this one because it's got nice acidity, nice tannins. This means that the wine can go for long, 20, 30 years, but life is too short, so we better drink them tonight. See what's next. Yeah, the top three Sangiovese appellations in Tuscany. You might have seen this graphic on Instagram, this spider net graphic. that compares the Brunello di Montalcino, the Vino Nobile, and the Chianti Classico. So again, this is a general example. There are 250 wineries in Montalcino, 150 in the Vino Nobile, or the 500 in Chianti Classico area. But you see that Brunello is the one with the bigger structure, the higher average quality, the bigger aging potential, and complexity as well. Nice elegance, good balance, and the value, you know, the Chianti Classico and the Vino Nobile assign a higher value, a better value for the price, because the Brunello di Montalcino, especially nowadays, the market is booming with Brunello and the prices are a little bit higher. But you can still find some amazing wines, like the ones we'll be tasting tonight that are great values. You have to rely on the right guy to have, you know, to find the hidden gems. I'm just joking. So the wine lineup of the night will be tasting. The first wine is going to be Castello Tricerchi. The second one is going to be Castiglion del Bosco, and we're going to taste them with the two amazing guests that we have. The third one, Podere le Ripi, Cielo d'Ulisse. The fourth one, Albatretti, that you guys, you know already pretty well if you joined if you belong to the Perbacco Wine Club. It was in the last in the shipment in spring. Pietroso, amazing winery, and another great winery, which is Mastroianni. The special guests of tonight are Mr. Tommaso Squarcia, that I'll be introducing in just a few seconds. Tommaso, get ready. That will soon. I will be opening your camera and your audio. So, Mr. Tommaso Squarcia, the new generation of Castello Tricerchi, young and passionate winemaker, and this guy is a really good friend of mine, and he's one of the rising stars in Montalcino. He's stepping up the game big time. I can talk good about his quality because now he's not on video, so he's not gonna become red in front of the camera, but he's doing a great job, and he's a great guy and a great friend of mine. Also, we have two beautiful guests also for our female viewers. We have two good-looking guys, not like this ugly sommelier from Montepulciano. The other special guest, Mr. Guido Dispenza, one of my best friends. We grew up together, my former flatmate at university. He's a salesman and hospitality manager at Castiglion del Bosco winery owned by Ferragamo, Sangiovese lover and wine expert. Guido was born in Montepulciano, and professionally he grew first in Chianti Classico and then in Montalcino. So I might ask Guido a comparison about the appellations. Okay. See what's next. The next slide. Oh, my face again. Okay, I don't want to bore you to death. I officially declare wine time. Enjoy the tasting. And I think I will be having now Guido and Tommaso on screen.
Hi guys.
Guido, you have to activate the video.
Valentino, please help me. I have the staff working for me.
Tommaso as well. Hi, Tommaso.
Okay, hi, Francesco. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hey, are you guys on video?
He says I can't.
See if I can do it for you guys. There's so many people online. Hello, everyone. There you go, Guido. Hi, Guido. Hi, Tommaso.
Here we go.
Hi, Guido.
Hi, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, very much for doing this. I'm very glad to have our very first masterclass with you guys. You guys are some really good friends of mine and two people that I admire. Tommaso, I told you, everyone that is stepping up the game big time with the winery, Castello Tricerchi's family winery. He is driven by passion, and when he talks about his wine, you can see the sparkles in his eyes because he loves what he's doing, and he's doing an amazing job. And Guido, well, is one of my best buddies, as I told you. We're flatmates at university, and he is the hospitality manager and salesperson at Castiglion del Bosco Winery in the beautiful background. Hello, guys. Hello, Guido. Where are you
Hello.
now? Where are you now, Guido?
We are in our member cellar, actually. I would like to have this tasting, this explanation with you, this nice moment together in a special place for us, which is the member cellar. And Valentino now gonna show us with a little panoramic view of this beautiful place. Actually, is our caveau. As you see, guys, each single part is split in lockers, and each locker belonged to a wine member. The main idea of the owner, of Massimo, was to dedicate a whole room for the best buyers, our best friends, the best friends of our wines. Each one has a locker. They can stock in here. Of course, not just our own Brunellos, but Brunello from every producer or even all over Italy. And actually, there's a tailor-made service for real Italian wine lovers, of course. And a spot is kind of pretty enjoyable and nice to arrange a tasting or dinner, whatever.
I remember we did a wine tasting with a group from Utah last year. There were the 25 of us. We did the tasting in the member cellar, and man, it was beautiful. The setting is just spectacular. And I'm gonna reveal one secret to everyone, since the cellar is well locked. I hope so, and nobody's gonna steal anything from there. But the bottle that you saw from Brunello 1955 Reserva from Biondisanti is in one of those lockers.
Is here,
so,
yeah. I know.
So
I know.
you don't buy a locker in such an incredibly beautiful environment and put the cheap everyday wine in there. You got to put some nice wines in there. Okay, well, thank you, Guido. Thank you, Guido. Now I introduce Tommaso. Hi, Tommaso. How are you?
Hi, Francesco. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much for this beautiful occasion, this meeting. I'm so happy to see you. I'm very well. I'm in my place. I'm in Castello Tricerchi now. So very beautiful night, and so happy to stay here now with you. And congratulations for the Brunello introduction. Was fantastic, perfectly done.
Well, thank you very much. I hope there's still a few people that didn't fall asleep out there. I don't know how long was it. I have no sense of time. Well, we Italians, we in general, we have no sense of time. Something that can last 2 minutes, it lasts, hours. Okay, I'm gonna ask Guido just one question, because it's very interesting that you were born in Montepulciano, then you worked in Chianti Classico area, and now you are thriving at Castiglion del Bosco winery. So you're a Sangiovese guy, obviously. You know all the secrets of the Sangiovese. What's the in 1 minute the difference in between the Vino Nobile, Chianti Classico, and Sangiovese for you?
But the thing, I guess your explanation was perfect, kind of. And I guess the main difference is what you're looking for in a glass. When I approach a glass of Chianti, I'm looking for freshness and a rich juice in the mouth. And on the bouquet, mainly, I'm looking for floral notes and a nice fruit aroma. If I approach Montepulciano, as you know, with a great other grapes we can use in Montepulciano, like Mammolo, I have in mind, or for example, Canaiolo,
Colorino, yeah.
When I have a sip of Montepulciano, I want to feel the great, nice, soft texture of a plum. And on the bouquet, when the Mammolo is doing great, I guess you have one of the most nice and, a nice floral bouquet that you can research in all Italian wines. Have in mind the beautiful flavor of some great Boscarelli, Nobile or even Sanguineto, that it's always a stunning bouquet. Brunello, I guess, hit the success actually because when you sip a Brunello, you have a great mix and match of thick texture. I mean, Brunello is a full body wine, guys. And the thing is, it's full body, but it's super approachable and easy drinking. The thing is, the secret of Brunello mix very real, layered palate, thick texture, together with a bright acidity and a neat, sour, tasty, salty touch that always refresh the tongue. And that, I guess, is the key of the Brunello. I guess then we can speak about, I don't know, 24 hours about terroirs in Chianti, in Montepulciano.
Especially you and I.
Yeah. I mean, with Tommaso as well, all our friends.
Okay.
But the thing is, what do you expect from your glass?
I pass the word to Tommaso. Tommaso, just tell us about your family, about what you're doing, and we're gonna taste ourselves how amazing what your wine is. But tell us a little bit of your background and your family's background.
Well, I had the incredible chance to some years ago in 2013 to arrive here in Castello Tricerchi. As you know, I grew up in Rome, even if my family probably is one of the oldest of the Montalcino territory. Castello Tricerchi is a castle. Tricerchi is the name of the family who completed this construction in the 1441, a family from Siena. I don't want to be boring about the family history, but anyway, in 17th century...
We love it. We love it. We love history. Yeah.
Well, this family, Tricerchi, means three circles. Bull on three circles is the family crest. Well, they were part of the Siena oligarchy in 12th and 13th century. They were banker, really. They absolutely were a noble family. But the main point was the connection with the Medici family from Florence, banker as well. Well, Medici family nominated Tricerchi as governor of a part of the Siena province, the south part. And this is why the family arrived here in Montalcino. But the strange thing that they found the foundation of the castle built already. So they just completed the construction in this very singular date, vintage, that is the 1441, is a palindrome here. I honestly think that has been selected, to be honest, because it's also the year of the angel for the religion. But anyway, let's leave the doubt, okay?
Yeah.
Well, in 17th century, the last Tricerchi member got married with one of my family members, Squarcia. My last name is Squarcia. And is a family from the south part of Tuscany, on board with Lazio, with Rome. And well, so from the end of the 17th century, the last name in the castle became Squarcia family. Arriving to more recent period, we always lived in this place, in this beautiful castle, and I invite everybody to come to visit when it will be possible in the future. I hope soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
I come very soon.
Hopefully soon. Well, we also lived inside. The castle is in part is private, is where I live today. I grew up in Rome, but in 2013 I had this incredible chance because was missing a person, a representative in the company. And well, I thought that this one was the occasion of my life because I started to do something that I really love, something that was since the beginning my dream. So I arrived in Castello Tricerchi without, anyway, I'm a pharmacist, so I studied chemistry. My previous life was completely different. What I learned from being a pharmacist is to not use too much chemical product to make a great wine. A great wine is a son of great grape, is a son of the land, is a son of identity of this territory. And I don't think I had the revolution, but I started my personal project that is something mine, first of all. We are in the north side of Montalcino. historically the north side of the territory, where also Castiglion del Bosco is located, is the coldest part of the
I'm gonna
area.
show the map. I will show the map when you talk.
Okay, and probably my area, I think that I was very lucky in a few points. The first point is absolutely the big change that we are living today, the global warming. Okay, my area, the Castello Tricerchi geography is main north, real north. Well, 25, 30 years ago, it was very, very difficult for us in this place to arrive at a perfect maturation and a perfect ripening of the grape. Obviously, with in this moment, with the global warming, many things are changing in the Montalcino territory. There are many, many differences today. In the north today, we are lucky to have the chance to go with much longer ripening, to arrive in a longer time to have the harvest. But especially, as you perfectly mentioned, is also the big change. You were mentioning about the Biondisanti family, and then the modern school with Banfi. And then in this moment, I don't know if you agree or not, but we are going back to a very old school kind of wine, kind of Brunello, right?
Yes, definitely.
The taste, the idea of the Sangiovese is going back to a very pure expression of Sangiovese.
This bright acidity, this longevity, this drinkability, which now when we'll be tasting your wine, I think what hits me about your wine, it's like, as I told you today when I called you, your wine, what I love about this guy right here, Castello Tricerchi, 2015 Brunello, is that in the word wine scenario, you think about Brunello, about this, unreachable wine that you have to open only on that special occasion, because it's usually a big wine, a heavy wine with big in alcohol. Well, your wine is, I don't feel guilty drinking this on a daily basis, because first of all, it's amazing and it's got very nice drinkability, nice acidity. I'm completely addicted to this wine. When I open a bottle of this, it's a disaster. Mary has to just carry me to bed because I have to finish the whole bottle by myself. So extremely addictive, amazing wine. I think we can go into analyzing the wine. I think it's wine time, and I think our guests, the ones that are not asleep, hopefully, would love to taste the wine. So we are tasting Castello Tricerchi, 2015.
Sorry, Francesco, I don't have the bottle. Where is my bottle of Tricerchi?
No. Oh yeah, well, you have plenty of bottles in there. You have the Castiglion del Bosco. You have 3 liters on top of your table.
Yeah, but it's still finished. Come on, I need another bottle. Where is? You invite me, I have just to drink 3 liters.
I'm very stingy, very cheap. You know me since 20 years. Okay, let's start with the Castello Tricerchi 2015. 30,000 bottles made, am I correct, Tommaso?
Correct, right.
Okay, also because it's written on your website.
Right, it's correct.
Okay, this beautiful red ruby color that I love. I love the Brunello is usually more transparent. You can actually see through the glass. This is because the wine has got very nice acidity. So what hits me of this wine is the beautiful intensity and the beautiful elegance. The wine is very precise because all the components are very well defined. So you have notes of ripe red fruits, like a cherry on the spirit. Very nice. Red currant as well. Dried flowers, like a potpourri flower. Also hints of blood orange. I don't know if you agree with me. Similar to a Pinot Noir from Burgundy. This kind of blood orange nose, to me, that invites to a second, to a third, or fourth smell because it's extremely pleasant. You have spices of tobacco as well, very typical of Sangiovese, and a gentle note of like mineral note of like pencil, like graphite, like pencil-like, due to the soil. So very complex and elegant. So now we proceed to drink the wine. For the ones that have never seen a live tasting or have never been to a wine tasting with a sommelier, we are very gross people and we spit it out. I mean, it's disgusting and gross, but this is what we do. Okay, so I'm gonna drink this amazing wine. I love it. I'm happy with this. So the palate's very nice structure, beautifully balanced. What hits me is the balance of this wine. The beautiful, I love balance in the wines. I'm like the Mr. Miyagi of wines. Balance is the most important thing. You have to balance all the compounds because if you have a wine that is too much alcohol but doesn't have that acidity that wants you, makes you desire to drink more wine, sometimes I get tired after the first glass. This, as I told you in the beginning, is extremely addictive. So this is a perfect example of a young Brunello, also exuberant, vibrant, vertical. And, the acidity is marked, but the tannin is not too firm. It's leave like a tickle in the tongue. It's not too tannic. I think the perfect, this one has great aging potential, and a perfect pairing with this one will be probably seasoned cheese, like a hard cheese on this one, even in an afternoon with your friends, like as an aperitif. I think this will be amazing, perfect to be enjoyed with friends. It's got highly addictive. It's got rock and roll personality. I do wine pairing with music. I do wine pairing with music, and I think this is rock and roll. This is like Elvis Presley. Rock and roll personality, nice drinkability, beautiful structure. Good job, Tommaso. Now the word to you. What do you think? Did I
to be honest,
bullshit all the time?
I'm drinking. I almost drank a bottle anyway, but because I was listening and anyway. But I tell you, the good sign is that I almost drank a bottle because as you mentioned it right now, in our part of Montalcino, in our vineyard, we can have a kind of Sangiovese extremely enjoyable. It's not a very heavy Sangiovese. There is the right structure, but acidity and tannin are playing a good music together with the structure. So the wine at the end is easy to drink anyway.
Yeah.
What I'm very happy to tell you is this is the first important vintage I had, because I started in 2013. That was fantastic. The 14, as you know, was difficult. Let's say that. And the 15 is the first real important vintage. And I recognize the vintage into the glass. This is something very important for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely important. As you know, the 15, the 16 are both two incredible vintages. The 15, we can say, was a kind of perfection, is the perfection exists, because the perfect balance of the season, what we would like to have anytime, every year, with a very warm summertime. So probably the summer was warm, and this is probably why in the north side of Montalcino we were able to have this finesse, this elegance, this very pleasant idea, this very pleasant impact that is still very young, but start to be enjoyable since the beginning. This is the main point, because I think Brunello is a wine for the time, is a wine that everybody would like to have in the cellar and to taste in 20 years. But I really agree with what you told before. We have not, the life is too short, so we have to enjoy now, enjoy tomorrow. We can't enjoy only tomorrow. So totally agree with your description. Is a perfect description. And anyway, I think that I recognize territory. I recognize the vintage. This is the most important goal of this glass of wine.
Great. So Guido, you've been complaining and whining about you don't have the wine at your disposal. You could have bought a bottle from Tommaso.
Absolutely, I know. So
It's your
Tommaso,
fault,
please, a good discount.
For the night, we can share a beautiful dinner together. We drink the 3 liter of Castiglion del Bosco and 3 liter of
Yeah.
Tricerchi.
I'm sure
We have to
that
invite all the
bottle,
friends.
that bottle with the three of us around the table won't last for a very long time. Because we have a group. I'm gonna tell you guys this a little bit. We have a group in Montalcino. We call it Fiesta Wine Club. Younger people. I mean, we were younger 5 years ago, 7 years ago when we started. But we were young people having dinners together, opening bottles of wine. Where like 20 of us, we would open 40 bottles. And we would end up a little bit wasted, but we would learn a lot also because we would have, confrontation amongst ourselves. We would be fighting over a wine. We'll be saying, I like this one better. No, I like the other one better. And we would fight for it, but still being amazing friends. And this helped me grow a lot professionally. And I'm sure it helped having this kind of, relationship and confrontation among each others helped our growth professionally very well. So Guido, what do you think about Tricerchi in general? Tommaso, just don't listen to it.
No,
I can definitely tell that I met Tommaso the first time in 2014, I guess it was. And I see each year, he put a brick on top of the quality of his own wine. A brick is too small to say. He raised the quality like this.
Yeah.
I see time by time each year. And the nice point is that, as you said at the beginning, is a rising star. Yeah, I think is the correct way, because each year something more, bam, 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 bam. And this is is not surprisingly, because the area where Tommaso has the vineyard, I guess is a very lucky one at the moment. Right now, the heat is doing a very, very hot climate.
Perfect to face the climate change challenges that we are having.
So I guess
more and
this
more.
helps a lot. His own passion helps a lot. And the fact that he's never, as a person, is never satisfied about his job. He's always looking to make something new, something better. And this is, I guess, the key of the success. And I mean,
another important aspect that is outside the glass and outside the bottle is that Tommaso, very active on social media, he's going to be on the wine club on the next shipment in spring next year, whose theme is millennials of wine, so young winemakers. I'm looking for people like Tommaso that, are bringing winemaking into the third millennium, young people with much wider perspective. And as a surprise, the younger winemakers, they're going back to tradition more and more, like you, Tommaso, were saying. Yeah. You young winemakers are looking into the future from a marketing perspective, but from a winemaking perspective, you're very, in general, conservative by a paradox.
For sure.
Very traditional. And another important thing is the wine tours and the hospitality that you developed in Castello Tricerchi, which is also, incredible factor for Castiglion del Bosco winery as well. You guys both do amazing wine tours. If I have to recommend a wine tour to do in Montalcino, there's always Castiglion del Bosco, Tricerchi, and also Podere le Ripi, because when you've seen these three wineries, I think you've seen it all in Montalcino. You've seen all the aspects of the Brunello in one day. So if you guys want to come to Italy, we can go there, we can go visit these incredible folks, and we can see these beautiful places. Okay, I was switching to the second wine.
Here we go.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I also miss my
Castiglion del
bottle.
Bosco. Yeah, you don't have the bottle, Tommaso. You guys should have more communication between each other.
I finished mine. So anyway.
Well, yeah, you finish yours. Okay, Brunello di Montalcino 2015 from Castiglion del Bosco. So a little bit of a background on the winery. You would tell more, Guido, you will be more specific. The owner of the winery is Massimo Ferragamo from
Yeah, absolutely.
Ferragamo fashion brand. He's one of the
Yeah.
best people I've ever met in my life. Even though he's managing such an important uh, business, I call my business as a family business. He's got a family business as well, was much bigger than mine, of course. But at the same time, very humble. When he goes to the winery, I'm surprised he calls you, like he knows all of you guys' names, and there's a lot of people working at Castello del Bosco. Very humble. So he's the owner of the winery. And Guido, now is your turn. Just tell us a little bit more.
But consider Castiglion del Bosco, to start from the name is kind of meaningful because Castiglion del Bosco means castle into the forest. And consider this castle was not a castle as the Tricerchi one, was like a sentinel tower built in 1100 in the middle of the forest of Montalcino. And all over the sentinel tower grown a small community, a borgo. You know, when you walk through the tiny village, you see the church, you see the houses that now are restored as an hotel. Consider since that time, we know that they start to introduce vines in this portion of Montalcino as a crop. At the beginning to make fruit, then to make, vinegar or something like a wine. And then step by step, they start to make wine. The first bottle is 1964 Brunello Castiglion del Bosco. So ideally, you have to imagine it was a tiny village with a small winery in the middle. And straight after the Second World War, everybody started to move and to go somewhere else to improve their own lifestyles and to find a better job. I mean, this area, Montalcino, is beautiful to make high quality wines, to make amazing olive oil, but for sure, the soil is so rocky. That's a key feature to make high quality wines, but it was so rocky that was offer a very tough life to the people that live here. That's why everybody escaped from this place in the early 50s. And when Ferragamo came here first time, was around 2002. He fell in love with the property. Consider, guys, the whole thing is huge. Is 200 hectares, mostly covered in forest. And then he decided to restore the tiny village that in 2003 looked like an abandoned town. He restored as an hotel, built a beautiful winery. Where we are is pretty brand new building. Is 2003, the year when they start to build the new winery, and he put together even a beautiful golf club. So actually, from what used to be a tiny village.
The place is unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty beautiful. It used to be an abandoned tiny village within the municipality of Montalcino. From 2003, the history changed because Massimo decided to invest a lot in this place because he trusts in the quality of the wine at first, and then the quality of the landscape of the environment here. From a terroir standpoint, we are not far from Tricerchi. We're pretty close. Anyway, our vineyard face a little bit more the west slope of the hill. I can definitely tell is little hotter than the area of Tommaso. But even into the glass, I guess
on the north.
Definitely.
I was showing the map where you were talking, not because I don't want people to see your face, because you look amazing tonight. But I was showing the map. So you guys are on the northwest side. So you obviously facing west. You have more sun exposure than Tommaso's Castello Tricerchi. But you're located high up in altitude. The Capanna Vineyard is the place of the vineyard. I mean, the hotel, the whole little village of Castiglion del Bosco is just mind-blowing. It's not a cheap mansion where you would sleep. It's not like a hostel budget kind of hotel because it's pretty expensive, but you have an amazing hospitality as well, which is what makes the difference in Castiglion del Bosco besides the beautiful place. But the vineyard is located in an area that is just mind-blowing with the views all over the Maremma. So you can see a beautiful view from the top of that vineyard. Okay, I think we can start with this wine. I think our guests are thirsty. Okay, so yeah, as you say, your area is slightly warmer than Tommaso's area. Probably here, I feel the 2015 as well as Castello Tricerchi. The 2015, the warmth, the generosity of the vintage. This wine is big on red fruits, big on red fruit and on intensity as well. So there's a dark cherry, black currant, also a little bit of pencil graphite here as well, which is due to the soil, which is mostly galestro, right?
Yeah, yeah. But consider
rocky soil.
The vineyard here is big, it's 42 hectares and quite steep. This wine, this label, our classic Brunello come from the bottom, where we do have a great balance in white clay and galestro rock. Actually, you find lowland, nice amount of clay, and for sure the texture of the wine grow. The volume is way more intense. But as you know, when you follow the road and reach the top where we have Campo del Drago area and pure galestro, higher elevation, the wine get very lean body and super brilliant. Here we do have a great balance between big texture and great acidity because of the soil mainly and elevation.
Yeah, definitely. So also besides of the red fruit, the currant, I have also, and the minerality in the nose, I have a note of, I don't know if it's just if it's because it's owned by Ferragamo, but like leather, like a leather jacket, nice. Like a old leather, like clean.
Nice tertiary aromas comes out.
Beautiful tertiary aromas as well. So let's see the palate. Nice, big, incredible personality as well. So very classic and old school Brunello. The palate is harmonious and it's perfectly balanced. You have this bright acidity as well, but then you have this smoothness due to the alcohol, which I think is 14.5, which is the average of the Brunellos nowadays. The tannins are well integrated with the structure, perfectly integrated, and the minerality on it is extremely pleasant. I have a lot of minerality, savoriness, saltiness into my mouth. I think this would go with red meats too really well, like braised beef cheeks with a lot of tomato, like a big rich sauce. I think this will balance perfectly because with this acidity, with this beautiful tannin, it will balance the dish perfectly. And I think you have great aging potential here as well. It's extremely enjoyable, this one now, but I think this one can go for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this area, and I spoke for me, and I guess Tommaso will agree with me, 15 is a success, even because this area sometimes has a lack of structure, sometimes. Instead, 15 offer us great structure to put together with our nice acidity from the northern side. So kind of a pretty lucky vintage for us. For all the appellation, but in the classic cold areas, for sure, even something more, maybe.
Right, I agree.
Tommaso, what do you think in general of Castiglion del Bosco? You're not tasting the wine now, but you've tasted many times this year. So
Yeah. To be honest, Castiglion del Bosco is doing beautifully, and I think that not because a friend of mine, but is the truth, and I speak very honestly talking. The great value of Castiglion del Bosco are the people of Castiglion del Bosco. Guido is
exactly.
one of them. I think they represent probably the revolution of this company in the last few years. And the part of the big change that we find into the glass is by them. And Guido is one of the most revolutionary person
Yes,
of the team.
Guido, and then in the next masterclass, our guests will meet Ugo. I am afraid of showing Ugo to the members of our wine club, and Facebook is not ready for Ugo. But no, he's an amazing guy. I think you are right. And first of all, this the humanity that is around the glass and the bottle of wine is amazing. Starting from Massimo, but also Guido, Ugo, Gemma, Valentino, Carolina, all the people working there. The hospitality in Castiglion del Bosco is just spot on. Filippo, Matteo. I'm afraid of forgetting someone, and then
never forget the winemaker, which is
and
the most
Cecilia.
beautiful lady in Montepulciano.
Also, because if I don't mention Cecilia, she's gonna come here because she lives next door. I'm now at the restaurant Osteria del Borgo, in our restaurant. She lives next door. The winemaker, Cecilia, she's doing a tremendous job. So, and you can see into the glass.
And here by here, she's very passionate with us because, as you say, from the commercial standpoint, we are quite, quite demanding, since we are, young, and we want to always try to have the best. But she's very passionate with us, and she always listen us, and she help us to grow and to learn more about the wine. It's not always easy. I guess for wineries like you, Tommaso, or other wineries, you are the guy that decide how to make the wine, how to sell the wine, and how to introduce the winery. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's easier because it's not true, but for sure you have your vision. And instead in a bigger winery, maybe with many people behind the stage, it's always tough to be sometimes all together. And I can definitely tell that a production part, Cecilia, Lapo, and all the guys, they are super nice with us and help us, listen to us, even if sometimes we say something not correct. But
I think you got a good standpoint because you mentioned, you are a young team. Tommaso is a young and passionate winemaker's got a young team as well. I think the energy, these kind of vibes that you guys have, both wines, the energy, you can feel it into the wine. The wine is kicky, is vibrant, is exuberant. It's like you guys, it's got this soul, you can feel it in the mouth. It's beautiful acidity. So this wine, comparing again with music, I think this wine is more jazz, like John Coltrane, like Nina Simone, like Duke Ellington. It's more jazz because you have this acidity but still very deep and still very this beautiful depth, this beautiful
little darker, more.
Okay, so I think if some of the guests have questions, we can also connect you on screen. I see a few people wrote, you guys wrote that you didn't hear me at the beginning. Oh, Stephen and Davidia from California. They said, we are not spitting. That's right. you guys are not supposed to do that. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. I'm on antibiotics because I got the last bit of wisdom I had in my body. I just pulled it out on Tuesday. So I'm tasting the wines on antibiotics. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how I handle the wine tasting in the last wine. I think I will be completely drunk probably, but we'll see. This will become interesting. I hope to keep all my clothes on and my dignity as well as as a sommelier. So if any of you has any question, you can activate your video or you can write on the chat. The members, I see, let's see who's online. I see, that's Bradley, Gianna's family in Atlanta. Oh, Christopher and Annette, also from Georgia. Yeah, Chris and Corey. We have Dave and Judy Bowen from Tennessee, amazing friends of mine. There's Dailene Bennett as well, Ed Murphy, Gina, which is a new member of the wine club. Oh, I see Vince Ayamuno from Cary, North Carolina. Vince, do you have any questions? You have incredible occasions to be able to ask questions to an amazing winemaker of Brunello and to one of the biggest experts of Sangiovese that we have around. So don't miss this opportunity. I guess everyone is shy. There you
Come
go.
on, guys, don't be shy. Come on.
Troy and Beth. Hey, how are you doing? I'm gonna wait a second. I'm gonna activate your audio. Hi guys.
There we go.
Hi guys.
Hey everybody.
Hey Troy. Hey.
We miss you so much, man.
I know. I keep looking at your Facebook. So Troy Spencer is one of the biggest fans of Tuscany.
He's the mayor.
You guys
of
have any
Montalcino.
questions?
No,
Anyone
I'm
here?
just trying to get you to see so that the video is picking up the screen. So I'm trying to pick.
Hold on. Let me show around to some of our friends that are here tonight. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got we got everybody.
Hi, Bradley.
Hi, everybody.
Hi everyone. Okay. If you do you guys have some questions?
Anyone? Question?
No, it's delicious.
Somebody
Okay,
asked what is a
perfect.
tannin?
Oh, tannin. Tommaso, do you want to reply that?
Is the tannin? Is the tannin?
Yeah, tannins.
What's the question?
Tommaso,
Sorry.
you there?
What's the question? What is the tannin?
Yeah, they want to know what tannins are.
Okay, tannin are, anyway, chemically talking, we are speaking about polyphenol, but anyway, it's something that you, in your mouth, when you taste the wine, you feel in the first part of the mouth a kind of, it's difficult to explain in English for me. Sorry, my English is horrible.
You studied it in Italian, right?
All right.
You speak Italian when you make wine.
I know. You feel this part of the mouth that is
Bitter, the dryness of your tongue, the dryness of your lips, and this is due to these chemicals, the polyphenols, these tannins that are present in the grapes, in the skin of the grapes, actually.
And in the seed as well, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Then we go with Bradley. How you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for doing this, Guido. Tomas, thanks for joining as well.
Hey, thank you.
So my friend Tim has a question.
So my question was, you said that it's 50 months for the Brunello, but it's either 3 years or 2 years that it's aged in the casks. What is the rest of the time?
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you
reply.
very much for the question. I'm gonna deactivate your audio, otherwise you have the return. Great question. Well, thank you, Bradley. Guido, do you want to answer that? So you do 50 months of aging, you do oak. What's the rest?
But actually, we do more and more bottle as possible. Actually, consider the first step into the wood, help what the previous guest asked for, help tannins to link together and avoid to give you the sandy aftertaste, the super dry aftertaste. Then a young wine gonna offer you, the aging in oak gonna offer us tannins that linking together, that became less reactive and less sandy and bolder. Actually, since we are in the north side, and generally our wines are pretty lean body, we don't want to overpower the wine with oak flavor or with too much oxygen. And actually, Cecilia do prefer to spend just 24 months out of the 5 years in oak. The rest is stainless steel and then into the bottle. But we are improving quite a bit the bottle aging process, even close to 10, 12, 14 months of bottle aging. Because we start to figure it out that.
So to answer the question, you do. I didn't write it on the presentation. My bad. So you do aging out of the 50 months of aging. You do oak, which is mandatory to do oak, and the rest is just bottle. Usually, you can use. Sometimes you can use concrete, or you can use stainless steel.
Exactly. For top selections, we do concrete, in the middle, in between oak barrel aging and bottle aging. Instead, for like our classic Brunello, we do stainless steel after the barrel, and then we put in the bottle as long as we can.
Yeah. So, sometimes you use concrete or stainless steel because sometimes the winemaker goes to the cellar. He or she, in the case of Castiglion del Bosco, Cecilia, tastes the wine and feels that wine is a little bit too ahead in terms of flavors from the oak. So she wants a more neutral vessel. So you can use whether concrete or stainless steel to preserve the qualities of the actual grapes, the quality of the wine. You don't want it too much on the oaky side. This is a decision that the winemaker takes. So the rest of the aging is in the bottle. The refinement is in the bottle. You stabilize the wine in the bottle and you can age the wine perfectly. Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think we have Steve now. Steven Davidia from Cali. I think you should be.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Ciao, molto grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao, Steve.
Ciao, Steve.
Un attimo, per cortesia, grazie. Guido e Tommaso, molto grazie di nuovo per la degustazione e una nostra vacanza in Italia, finalmente. So for us, this has been a great tasting. There we go, start the video. Okay. Your wines are just so beautiful and elegant and, typically Brunello, velvet. It's just such a pleasure for us to join our Italian friends and family. What do you think about the next vintage?
16.
16.
Great one.
There's a naughty question.
I take a glass of
meanwhile,
wine.
Tommaso is pouring in the meanwhile. Amazing. Well, first of all, just 1 second. Steven speaks perfectly Italian. Steven Davidia were here in February before the war became a shit show, before COVID hit. We did the week of the events. We did the Vino Nobile wine tasting with all the wineries in Montalcino, with the releasing of the 2017 vintage, the Chianti Classico releasing of the 2018 vintage, and the Brunello 2015 vintage. So Steven Davidia, you've tasted the wines already pretty much because you were there at the Brunello preview with us. And you have your beautiful Perbacco Wine Club drinking hats. I love that. Okay, Tommaso and Guido, what do you think about the 2016?
Tommaso first.
I honestly think they are, the 15 and the 16 are two beautiful vintages, both. I don't tell you that there is one is better, but they are different. I tell you an example that maybe is not pretty professional, but I think is extremely clear. The 15 was the classic beauty, the classic beauty. If you think about the beauty, was the 15, something very close to, very near to perfection, something that was extremely linear. The 16 was the perfection into the imperfection, because the vintage wasn't extremely linear. We had a very rainy June. We had an incredible August and fantastic September, the beginning of the fall. There is the beauty, but the imperfect beauty is the attraction. This is the big difference of the two. Honestly, something that we will discover together into the glass, the balance of the 15 is amazing. The attraction, the acidity and the extraction in terms of aroma, especially of the 16, is incredible as well. So honestly, I think that we will play a beautiful battle. And I'm so looking forward to taste both the vintages together. But anyway, they are the perfect representation of two incredible vintages.
So you know what, Tommaso, I think that people online now, they should buy 2015 and also 2016 next year.
Next year.
What do you think about that?
I think that I agree.
No, they're two amazing vintages, like both in their differences, they're equally amazing. 2015, if you like bigger wines, 2016, if you like more linear, a little bit more leaner and more elegant. Guido, what do you think, like 30 seconds about 15, 16?
I guess you both explained perfectly. The main thing is 15, the surprising thing of 15 is that it's very pleasant even now, okay? And if you like full body wines, 15 is yours. If you like leaner body, more vibrant, and maybe not, I guess 16 wouldn't be so generous in the short run as a taste, but in the long run would be super satisfying.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Stephen and Davidia. Thank you guys very much. I think I can say goodbye to you guys, Guido and Tommaso. I've been stealing a lot of your time, and I'm so thrilled and amazing to have you here again. Your expertise was just spot on, and your hospitality amazing, because you opened the door to your beautiful wineries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guido.
Thank you, Franci. Bye, guys. Bye, Perbacco.
Franci, how sweet is that? You never called me Franci.
Mara, grazie, Mara.
We are amazing friends, but you know, like you do with good friends, you call you names sometimes. It's like, yeah, but I cannot say it out loud. But thank you very much, Guido. Grazie, Tommaso.
Grazie, Mara. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Guido, as well.
Ciao, Tom.
Ciao.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to disconnect you, and this is going to be a one-man show from now on. Just kidding. I'll be going a little bit faster, because I don't know, I can't be here until all night, because we are honestly from 59 minutes from now, we'll be officially locked down again.
No, come on.
Antonella. So I have plenty of time. Okay. Yep, we go on to the third wine. Another amazing winery that I love. You can see that? Hold on a second. I can see that. Okay, try to move the light a little bit more. Take off the light. Toglila del tutto. Del tutto. Okay. There you go. Managed to do that. Yeah. Podere le Ripi, Cielo d'Ulisse, 2015, Brunello di Montalcino. 15% volume of alcohol. Not a wine you would drink by the pool. I mean, I don't have a pool, so non-wine I can drink by the pool. I don't have a pool, so like, what am I drinking? Well, anyway, so Podere le Ripi is one of my favorite estates in Montalcino, run by Francesco Illy, belonging to the Illy family, the coffee brand. Maybe you'll be familiar with the Illy coffee brand. He is pretty young on wine because he started to make Brunello in 2003. In 2003, Francesco purchasing the estate of Podere le Ripi. So Podere le Ripi is located. I'm going to share the screen again. You see, Podere le Ripi is located on the western side of. Podere le Ripi is located close to Mastroianni, the winery, but the wine that we're drinking now, Cielo d'Ulisse, is located on the western side of Montalcino, between north and southwest. They're facing the sea, they're facing the Maremma Valley, and while the winery is usually, I should move this here for the winery, because the winery is really close to Mastroianni, is right here. Yeah, I put this back into place. Then you should see my ugly face again. Yeah, here I am. So again, they are. This is the new estate that they recently purchased in the last years, since the winery was a boutique winery, but the demand for their amazing wine, even though they started only in 2003, was so big that they bought another estate, making other labels on the western side of Montalcino, such as this Cielo d'Ulisse 2015 that is made in the Galampio. The estate was previously called Galampio on the western side. So Podere le Ripi started as an amazing project by Francesco Illy. They have one of the best winemakers on the market at the moment, Mr. Sebastian Nasello, another winery that is beautiful and that makes incredible hospitality. They are really a young, energetic team like Castiglion del Bosco and Tricerchi as well. They make beautiful Brunellos, obviously, and they have these crazy ideas all the time that I love. There's something new, like Podere le Ripi is always a breath of fresh air. They always bring something new on the table, and I love this. I love people that are innovating, but at the same time following the tradition. They are 100% biodynamic. So biodynamic, some of you guys might be familiar with this word. Some others hear biodynamic and think probably of something naive, like a guy with dreadlocks, smoking something that is not legal in our country, walking barefoot in the vineyards, with an unleashed dog, blah, blah, blah. No, just kidding. Biodynamic is more extreme than organic. Actually, also Castiglion del Bosco is organic. Biodynamic means no chemicals and no chemicals into the soil, and preserving, what the land gives to you, following the moon calendar, for instance. That was something that our grandparents would used to make to make wine. So we start with this beautiful wine, another beautiful red ruby color. Perfect. This is a typical, like, classic standard Brunello color by the books. Yeah. Okay, so we start the tasting. Nice. Very big, very beautiful intensity. You actually, on the nose, you feel the generosity of the alcohol of the vintage. I told you before, more than 15% volume, because being on the western side of Montalcino, they got a lot of sun exposure during 2015 vintage. That, as we said, was a pretty warm vintage. But still, I hope that the palate will have this balance that me, the Mr. Miyagi of wine, always looks into wines. But the bouquet is powerful, ample, very big, very complex, beautiful complexity. So with red cherry on the spirit, there's this wild rose, this beautiful floral note of wild rose. A nice note of like orange, like Campari note of orange peel, like Cointreau Campari. And this one is earthier than the previous two. This one is more earthy. You can feel the earth, like tilled earth, even almost mushrooms as well. Even truffles. Probably this within 15 years will taste a lot more like truffle. Notes of tobacco as well. Like even like before Ferragamo had the leather taste, and this owned by Illy has kind of a coffee taste as well. This looks like a redundant, stupid joke, but it's actually what I feel in the wine at the moment. Let's go and taste it. Let's see if this generosity is into the palate as well. Mr. Miyagi of wine is happy because this wine is really well balanced. You have the generosity, the power, the structure of a typical Brunello from the western side, but it's balanced with the perfect acidity. It makes the wine very enjoyable, a nice savoriness, a nice minerality that makes the wine, you know, my taste buds are filled up with joy because I feel the aroma of the red cherry, this plum, this tobacco as well. But beautiful savoriness, beautiful minerality that invites to the second, to the third, to the fourth sip, even though it's a 50% volume, 15% volume of alcohol. This big generosity is well balanced by a nice acidity, so you don't feel it. And this is what I call, while Sebastian, the winemaker, amazing winemaker, is a good friend, this is what I call a false friend, in the meaning that you drink this wine. If you don't look at the label, the 50%, 15% of alcohol, you feel alcohol in the mouth. But this beautiful balance makes that you don't feel the alcohol until you're just standing up on from the table and you realize you're shit-faced and you're drunk and you have to Uber back home. Because it's got, even though it's a very deep, big Brunello, it's got a beautiful, beautiful balance. So you don't feel like it's too much on the alcohol side, but it's perfectly balanced. Again, great. I think this is gonna pair well with roasted meat. And music wise, before we had, you know, rock and roll, we had Elvis Presley. Then we had Castiglion del Bosco with jazzy like John Coltrane, like Duke Ellington. Here we have blues, like blues music, like the earthy blues music, like Nina Simone, like Muddy Waters, which is one of my favorite. Like this Muddy Waters with this big voice, the big structure of this wine. I think this is a perfect balance. I think this is a perfect pairing for me. Again, you know, music. I love music. I can't help it, and I listen to music when I drink the wine. So, congratulations to the guys of Podere Le Ripi. We go on to the fourth wine, which is a wine that you guys from the Perbacco Wine Club know already. I drink a sip of water because a lot of Brunello, you know, these are the tannins. My mouth is pretty dry now. First of all, because I talk too much, most of you would say. And second of all, because alcohol dehydrates. So one reason why we need big wines with steaks, for instance, is because like let's say a steak will create succulence in your mouth. It makes you salivate a lot. So you have a lot of juices into your mouth because you have your own, I know this is gross, but you have your own liquids, fluids, and then you have the juiciness from the steak. So this is why you need a wine with a high percentage of alcohol to balance it up. An Amarone would suit better than, let's say, a Rosso di Montalcino, Rosso di Montepulciano, or a lighter wine, or like a light rosé, I would say. So this is why you need bigger alcohol. So my mouth is dehydrated, and also the tannins. To reply the question from Bradley, my friend Bradley, well, from Bradley's friend, whose name I don't recall. I'm doing too many things at the time. I'm not multitasking guy. But to reply his questions, I know actually this was Troy's and Bet's question from Atlanta. The tannins are this sensation of dryness that I have in my mouth right now talking. You guys have it in your mouth. So you drink a sip of wine and you have this kind of, dryness into your mouth. And this dryness, you need to balance as well the juiciness of steaks and the succulence, for instance, of a seasoned cheese. Okay, fourth wine. You know this guy already if you had the spring shipment of the Perbacco Wine Club. Albatretti, 2015, Brunello di Montalcino. Also generous on alcohol, 15% volume. Another false friend, because even though it's generous in alcohol, you can drink it a lot. Okay, so a little bit of a background about who's behind the bottle, not behind this bottle, just this ugly guy. Behind the bottle in general, you have Gaetano Salvioni, great guy. The production of this winery is probably one of the smallest wineries in Montalcino, if not the smallest winery in Montalcino. I think the production is around 8,000 bottles. So 5,000 bottles of the Brunello di Montalcino and 3,000 bottles of the Rosso di Montalcino. Extremely limited production. It's not even a full-time job for Gaetano because he owns, I think, electronic store, something like that. Because I remember when I met him in February, when Steven and Davide that you met before were with us at the Brunello tasting, I tasted this wine and I had an epiphany. I fell in love with it at the first sip because I think the palate of this Brunello represents the category of Brunello di Montalcino and what a big red wine should be. When I fell in love with this wine, I go like, man, I know you have a small production. What do you think if I put your wines into my wine club and I buy, say, 600 bottles? Is that too much for you because you have small wineries, so you have different clients that you have to satisfy? And he said, well, I don't care. This is not even my full-time job. This is my hobby. This frankness that he replied with just stunned me. And I fell in love with Gaetano from, business perspective, in a world where the wine, the sales people into wine are always trying to sell the wine, and he's very chilled out and he knows he makes an amazing wine. Extremely limited production. So we go on to the fourth wine, Albatretti Brunello di Montalcino 2015. This is boutique winery, hidden gem. So nice. Another big nose, another big ample bouquet, a lot of power as well. I'm sure that the mouth is going to be very powerful as well in general in alcohol, as you have seen. Okay. Well, the Brunello is rich, extremely complex, as I told you, really generous and lascivious as well. You have hints of black cherry, of ripe plum, also dark chocolate. Also, you have a dark chocolate in this one, and filled earth as well. This one has got beautiful earthiness as well. This is what you call an earthy wine, as a wine of earth. Let's see the palate is if it's as good as. This one is unlike me. I'm not muscular at all. This wine is muscular. This is what you expect from a Brunello. This is what you expect, from such a big wine. Incredible structure, but as well as the previous one, extremely well balanced. The palate on this one is very round. The tannins are very round, very soft, very warm, very gentful, lustful. my taste buds are in ecstasy right now as well, because this is extremely harmonious as well. So you don't expect usually this perfection from smaller wineries. I think he did an amazing job also from a technical perspective, because usually smaller wineries, technically, they're not as prepared as a big winery. But Gaetano knows what he's doing. Even though this is a hobby for him, he's doing a tremendous job in terms of complexity and of quality, extreme quality of the wine. So this wine can be paired with game, because this wine is very wild. So I think like a wild boar stew, like game in general, this would be a perfect pairing, because here you have alcohol and you have tannins as well. So roasted meat or a game would be a beautiful match. I remember in the wine club descriptions, I paired this wine with the song from my favorite artist. I think this guy is the best artist of the 20th century, David Bowie. The song 5 Years, because you have to wait 5 years for the Brunello, as I told you, but it was worth the wait. So, this anxiety when you know that you're making, that the vintage is amazing. 2015, we all had the feeling that the vintage was perfect. And the international critics, they already started to talk about the quality of 2015 vintage in October 2015. So think about the anxiety of having these wines in the cellar. You have to wait almost 5 years before you release them, and then you open them the 1st of January after 5 years, and the wines are amazing. This is the magic of Brunello. This is the magic of wine. Wine is 98% of wine can be explained about science, chemical. There's a 2% of magic that is impossible to explain. And people that know that, the people that say they know everything about wine, they know nothing about wine, because this is why we are now talking about wine and not about Sprite or Coca-Cola, because of that 2% of magic, of mystery we talk about this wine. So, the pairing with the song 5 Years of David Bowie became pretty natural, because this wine has got a deep rock and deep introspective and blues soul, like the White Duke, David Bowie. And also because, it was really, really worth the wait. I hope you enjoyed it, because this is one of my favorite Brunellos in the last years. Okay, we switch on to the fifth wine. Another sip of water. My antibiotics are making me drunk at the moment. Just kidding. Fifth wine. Oh, another wine of my heart. I wanted this tasting to be amazing, and I selected the 6 wines that I kind of like the most around. Brunello di Montalcino 2015 from Pietroso. Another big, generous wine. Yes, 15% volume of alcohol as well on this one. So Pietroso, now in the wine business in the area, the name of Pietroso is starting to grow and grow and grow, at the point that it grew too much, because now it's difficult to find the wine. You have to buy it in advance before other people buy it. So I'm always jealous when everyone finds out how amazing a wine is, because then there's less wine for me. I'm very jealous of my wines, like Podere Le Ripi back in the days. Not many people knew about the wine, so I was buying a lot of wine, and now it's difficult, because I called Sebastian and he said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we just ran out of wine, whatever." So, and Pietroso is one of them. So the Pietroso, very limited production, 12,000 bottles, another family-run winery run by Gianni and Cecilia Pignatai and their sons. They actually became grandparents recently in the last few months. So, well, congratulations for becoming grandparents with your beautiful nephew. So, as I told you, this small estate became a big name in Italian viticulture in the last year. So, okay, let's go to analyze this wine. Another big, important wine. Very big. I mean, this is the bouquets intense, complex, refined, I mean, ethereal, beautiful, beautiful, very ample. This wine is huge. It's got a huge personality as well. You know, this is jammy, like more of a jam fruit. This is not a dried cherry. This is like more a cherry jam, more jammy. You can, the generosity of alcohol is expressed on the generosity of the fruits as well. You know, sour cherry jam, wild rose as well as the previous one, black currants. And on this one, I feel Montalcino in the sense there are a sense of woods, sense of forest as well, like humus, like, you know, soil, like earth as well on this one. Let's go taste this beautiful wine. Wow, this one is not big, it's huge. It's got huge, huge power, very muscular as well as the previous ones. The structure is robust, broad, and powerful. As I told you, the palate is very warm. The warmth of the alcohol, you can feel it. Extremely gentle and rounded as well, and incredibly persistent. Persistent. I'm having this red fruit, like long lasting in my mouth. This feeling of jamminess, this feeling of savoriness as well, because you have some minerality here, some good minerality here as well. It's a very long depth, very long lasting finish. Amazing. The firm tannins are perfectly integrated with the big structure. I think this is a perfect steak wine. So the generosity of the alcohol structure will pair perfectly with the succulence of bistecca fiorentina, for instance. So I think if the previous ones were, you know, rock music, jazz, and blues, I think this one is Pavarotti. Like here you have the Turandot, you have Pavarotti, you have big voice, a powerful voice. You have Andrea Bocelli, you have Pavarotti, you have Carreras. I mean, this is a big wine, like a symphonic music almost. It's a symphony of amazing aromas. So again, congratulations, Gianni and Cecilia, for your nephew, and congratulations for the incredible achievements that you're reaching with your beautiful wines in the last years. Spot on, amazing job. Now we're going to the sixth wine. We're almost there, guys. Don't fall asleep, please, on me. Don't fall asleep. And again, I wanted to congratulate Steven and Davidia before, because I'm thinking about it now. Before the other groups, you would see other people, but Steven and Davidia are drinking 6 bottles of wine now. So congratulations. I know this is, you know, during, this is my idea of virtual tasting when you have at least 6 wines, but I know the 6 bottles for a couple are a lot. So I think, Antonella, can you pass me the Corvin, please? So I'm gonna show them. I think if you have 2 people, whether you can use this guy right here, this instrument, Corvin, with the Corvin, you pretty much go through the bottle, through the cork. You pull it down and then you pour the wine from here, right? So you don't have to open the bottle, and you can preserve it for more days. If it's just, if you cannot handle the 6 bottles among only 2, 3, or 4 people, if you can drink the bottle, 6 bottles into 2 people, I mean, I'm very proud of you guys. But if you want to do that, if you, due to COVID, you cannot invite many people over, I understand that. But with Castiglion del Bosco, we are trying to find a solution with smaller bottles. Let's see if we manage to pull this off. So 200 milliliter bottles, which are ideal for couple. Yeah, Antonella wrote on the chat the name of the device, Corvin. This is not sponsored. They don't pay me money. Actually, I pay them a lot of money. See, I see Steven writes, oh no, we don't have the Corvin. Yeah, well, you can finish the wines. I mean, these wines, if you open them today, you can drink them tomorrow and day after. Actually, tomorrow they will taste better. So tomorrow we have the olive harvest. We're finishing the olive harvest with our staff of the Osteria del Borgo. The ones that bought the food package deal will receive our olive oil next. You're gonna receive our olive oil about mid-November, because we're making the olive oil day after tomorrow, and then we send it straight away when the olive oil is fresh. So I think tomorrow, when we will have, after we pick the olives, it's gonna be a cold day probably. We're gonna finish the wines and just to warm up, and the wines will be at their top level after 24 hours. Okay, almost there. This is the sixth wine, Mastroianni, 2015, Brunello, obviously 2015. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you see, yeah, thank you, Mary. Mastroianni, Brunello di Montalcino, 2015. Another, this is 14.5% of alcohol, which is the average in Montalcino. So Mastroianni is owned by the Illy family, by a different brother than Podere Le Ripi, which is owned by Francesco Illy. This is owned by Riccardo Illy, and the Illy family in general, but the CEO is Mr. Riccardo Illy. Located very close to, I'm gonna show you. Again, right here, really close to Podere Le Ripi, which, as you remember, is ideal here. Mastroianni is located on the southeast side of Montalcino, which get sun from south, usually in the mornings and at the beginning of the afternoon, not in the late afternoon. So it gets a lot of sun, and it's got very generous soil, rich in limestone and alberese stones as well, mostly limestone. And also volcanic ashes, because we are facing south, they're facing the Amiata mountain. So the Amiata mountain on that particular area makes some magic happens, because the Amiata mountain releases, as I told you before, the cool breeze at night during the warm summer nights, and the temperatures wings are perfect for the development of the aromatic compounds of the wines, and for a perfect ripening of the acidity of the grapes. And also the limestone makes the rest, with a few spots of volcanic soil as well, due to you remember the explosions of the Amiata mountain. So there's beautiful big aromas and big bouquets and nice savouriness in the wines on that particular areas. Okay, here we go. This is one of the top estates in Montalcino. The production here is about 50,000 bottles, I think, 50,000 bottles according to the vintage. Okay. So you have notes of plums, a lot of like red fruit as well. Obviously, all the same wines that have a pattern. You can tell these are Brunellos. Then you can have the Brunello from the north or the Brunello from the south, east, or west. But the patterns, such as the violets, the red currant, the red cherry, red fruits, a little bit of tobacco and leather, are always pretty much there into the Brunello di Montalcino. So here you have notes of plums, red currants, tobacco, leather, chocolatey as well. I think this would pair really well with chocolate as well, like dark and sour chocolate. This would pair perfectly, because also the chocolate, as well as the steak, black chocolate has got something in common with steaks. It makes you salivate a lot, and it's very succulent meal. So this generosity of alcohol and these tannins can help a lot to, balance perfectly the food. Okay, yeah, earthy notes here as well, and a lot of wild rose. The wild rose is typical on this one, like wild flowers. Let's taste it. Another big wine. Another big wine. Amazing quality, amazing complexity as well. Last full palate. Very, again, the taste buds are just in joy and ecstasy now. A lot of flavors. This plum is really there. And one of the secrets for amazing wines is when you have the coherence in between what you smell and what you actually taste. I smell plums and red currants, and I'm tasting them. My aftertaste while I'm talking, it's an effluvium of plum and red currants. I see Vincent, one of my really good friends, Vince Ayamuno. Vincent, one of my great friends from North Carolina, he's writing, "Stop pretending to spit." I'm just pretending, yeah, of course. So when you have this coherence in between the smell and the taste, is just perfect. It's bingo. You got the perfect wine right there. So, again, the palate is really intense. You have this minerality, this savoriness, rich in salt, which is due to the soil, which is mostly clay limestone, that gives this beautiful minerality and this, powerful mouth and lustful mouth as well as lustful palate. And the tannin still there, firm, but extremely integrated with the structure of the wine. So big structure and aging potential as well on this wine. I think this wine within 20 years from now will be completely different, but as amazing as this one. So the pairing on this one, I think the perfect pairing is lamb meat, like lamb chops, grilled with a little bit of maybe like this herbal notes that I have in this wine, maybe like with mint and olive oil on top of it. Just, I love it. It's my favorite. I think this would be a perfect pairing with lamb. And the structure, the wine, the song that I can compare the wine, the kind of music that I can compare this wine with is probably classic rock. This is a classic Brunello, classic rock music like Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, and like rock music, something big, something like the Queen, like the first Queen, something like Rolling Stones, yeah, like Sabbath as well. I mean, my favorite music, so I think this would go perfectly with them. Okay. All right, so we finished the wines. I'm sure you guys will party all day long. Just a few things. What do we have left? Do we have a schedule? I don't have a schedule. I'll just go with the flow. I was supposed to finish like an hour ago, so you can tell I don't have a schedule. So, okay, we go now onto the price list because I have to make a living out of it. So I'm gonna show you the price list. If this thing opens, like the Wi-Fi is from the 13th century, like Tommaso's Castello. Okay, let's switch. Let's cut to the chase. Money. No money, no honey. Okay, this is the Perbacco price list of the wines we've tasted tonight. So we do free shipping to the USA. Against, I mean, the members of the wine club already know that I do free shipping, but for the ones that are not members, we do free shipping to the USA. So think about shipping 12 bottles of wine costs 90 euros or $100. So it's really expensive, but I decided to cut these costs by working on volumes with the wine club. And this, it's been a win-win so far because the wineries are happy because they sell more wine. I'm happy because I sell more wine, increase the volumes. Since we created the wine club, we increased the sales of 600% in just 1 year. And you guys are happy because you only pay for what you drink, which is the most important thing. Okay, so we see the price. The first one we tasted, Castello Tricerchi, 43 euros, incredible value. This is a crazy good value. Castiglion del Bosco 2015 is 53 euros. Podere le Ripi, Cielo d'Ulisse, 45 euros. Albatreti, 53 euros. Pietroso, 60 euros. Mastroianni, 60 euros. So, you know, the conversion in between dollars, we're talking about probably Tricerchi is, you know, $47-ish, 48. Castiglion del Bosco, 59, 60-ish. Podere le Ripi, 50-ish. Albatreti, 60-ish. Pietroso and Mastroianni about $66, $67 US dollars. So we elaborated some deals. So 12 bottles combined of 2 bottles for each wine. So 2 bottles of Castello Tricerchi, 2 Castiglion del Bosco, etc., etc. 590 euros, so 640, 650 US dollars. If you buy 12 bottles of your choice, you can decide to say, okay, I liked, for instance, Castiglion del Bosco the most, and again, I'm gonna get 12 bottles. You get 5% discount on 12 bottles of your choice, mixed case, 10% on 24 bottles, and 36 bottles or more. I will clean your house for a week. I promise. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else. I think this is the last. Yeah, the last slides. You see my face. I'm available for questions. Just one thing for the ones that, you know, most of you guys joined the wine club, and I owe you everything for that, because it goes without saying, not just for me, but for all of you guys and for all the people, 7 billion people living around the globe. This has been a challenging year. We had to reinvent ourselves. And I'm glad that we pulled off the wine club 3 years ago. We started from nothing. We had a few emails, and we had a lot of people that joined us with enthusiasm. And I owe you my life for that, because if my family business managed to survive this year, hopefully it's not over yet, but if we managed to survive these years, it's thanks to you guys. You gave an incredible contribution. So, you know, for the ones that have joined the wine club and joined this tasting, I owe you my life for that. And for the ones that haven't joined the wine club, I mean, what are you waiting for to join the coolest wine club that we have in Italy? You must be fools to know about the Perbacco Wine Club and not join us. All jokes aside. I told you about the food package deals that we have going on. You can go online on perbaccomontepulciano.com. I'm going to show you. You go perbaccomontepulciano.com, you go on the store, on the shop, and you can buy the food package deal. We still have some olive oil left. We have the big response. We have a big response on that. We sold a lot of olive oil. We have 300 olive trees that we finish the harvest tomorrow and day after. And we're selling this olive oil to the members of the wine club. And we have cheese, we have spices, we have pasta, we have balsamico and honey from the farm next to our olive trees garden in the package deal. So go online and get it before we run out of it. Don't hate me. I told you that. I warn you so. Okay. I remind you, this is the first of the master classes that we did, that we are doing for this year, 2020. This horrible year. It looks like yesterday was Halloween. It looks like this has been Halloween all year long, man. It's well, okay, whatever. I don't want to complain. This is fun. I'm having a lot of fun. But this is the first event. Every other Sunday, we're going to have an event. Register as soon as possible for next event, which is going to take place November 15th, where we have the Super Tuscans Masterclass. Then November 29th, we have the Amarone Masterclass. On December 13th, we have the Barolo and Barbaresco Masterclass. And on December 27th, to close this 2020 shit show. We close it with a beautiful wine tasting of Chianti Classico and Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. So a few people like, you know, I see Tommy Selby is online from Alabama, Stephen and Davidia from Cali. Who else is Bradley? Christopher and Annette Bear from Atlanta, Georgia. They bought all the master classes. So if you guys like this one, I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna enjoy for sure the next master classes. We're gonna taste amazing wine and we're gonna spend some fun time together. The next ones are gonna be much shorter because I had such two amazing guests that, you know, I just wanted to share with you guys their incredible knowledge and passion. I'm gonna show you. We recorded this wine tasting, and you can watch it anytime in our Facebook page. And sorry, just 1 second, Mary. Could you please take off the light because you didn't see it? Thank you very much. You can watch it on Perbacco Wine Club Facebook page. We are live now. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Mark Zuckerberg. You can watch it on, you will receive the link of the YouTube video. Osteria del Borgo is the channel, YouTube channel. Follow me on my crazy page, Perbacco Wine Club. Yeah, I should have thought that this is reverse. Well, anyway, Perbacco Wine Club is our Instagram. You can send me orders or questions into my personal email, perbaccomontepulciano@gmail.com. And the website to buy the next masterclasses is www.perbaccomontepulciano.com/masterclasses. Yeah? Okay. I see Sandy online, just a few minutes. I say to all the people that said hello, Sandy Ferretti. She's amazing. She runs an amazing bed and breakfast and relay, actually boutique hotel, whatever you want to call it. The place is lit, is amazing, is beautiful. And Sandy and Phil, there are two American fellow, American citizens, soon to become Italian citizens, are running the place beautifully. And I highly recommend, if you come to Montepulciano, support them, because they started in 2019. They did an amazing job, and then COVID happened. They didn't have much background, but they're doing great, and I'm very proud of them. So go online, look at Relay Ortaglia. Thank you, Sandy and Phil. Let's see who else is online. Joy, saying hello to Mary. Joy Cusick from Everything's Falling Apart. Mary, where are you? Hold on a second. Mary and Antonella, very shy. Hello, girls.
Hello.
Ciao.
Ciao.
So we show the two beautiful guys to the female guests, and then two beautiful girls for the male audience as well. So thank you, Joy. Hello to you too. So Joy from New York City. Vincent, you're always the same. Vince, we need to buy wine for that, or is just a tutorial? Vince, you're always the same. I love you, Vince. Thank you very much. Thank you, and Candence as well. You have, and Baba as well is there with you guys in Cary, North Carolina. They have the sweetest baby ever. Baby Vincenzo's my American nephew. I just follow him on Instagram all the time and Facebook. Beautiful boy, and you guys are doing great. Who else is online? Christopher. So Chris and Annette Bear from Atlanta, your choices are always top notch and so enjoyable. I know, guys. Well, thank you very much. All jokes aside, I humbly accept the beautiful generosity from you guys. Steve Evans from Cali as well. Hi, it's our honor. I couldn't be more proud to be a member of your wine club. I brag about you all the time to my American friends. Well, thank you, Steve. I'm honored to have you guys aboard. Every time I have new people joining the wine club, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm overwhelmed by the incredible generosity from the first member that joined, which is Nick. Nick from the #1 member, and I'm gonna tell the surname, the family name. Up until Gina, which is the last member that just joined us a few days ago, on the recommendation of my amazing friend Ralph Modena. They have a Boche club, and they're watching the tasting night live. Ralph Modena has a, well, I owe you big time for this. And Ralph Modena, he lives in West Virginia, but they bought an incredible palace in Montalcino, Palazzo Galassi. I highly recommend, if you want to be in Montalcino, to look that, because Palazzo Galassi, they started. So if Sandy was unlucky that started in 2019, they were even more unlucky because they started 2020. So you can imagine how difficult it was for them. So thank you very much, Christopher Bear, Steve Evans, Joy again. Thank you very much. Oh, Bradley. Thank you guys very much. Thanks so much for a wonderful day. This was fantastic. We will order some wine this week. Hope you feel better. Well, thank you very much. No, my tooth is recovering completely. Thank Brad for being with us. We met last year. We did an event in North Carolina in Cary. We filled up a restaurant in Raleigh. 60 people into a restaurant in North Carolina, and this was amazing. Honestly, up until 2 years ago, I didn't even know that Raleigh existed, which is a beautiful, beautiful town. Don't get me wrong, also surrounded by forest. Amazing place. And then I go there, and suddenly we were welcomed by the mayor of the town. And Mary and I were like, are we that important in North Carolina that something happened that we didn't know about? And we filled up a restaurant. It was seriously amazing. Thank you, Bradley. Yeah, Christopher Triolo, thank you for your comment. Jeez. Okay, let's see who's there. I see my beautiful American friends from Memphis, Tennessee, Dave and Judy, from Germantown, from Memphis, that hosted us in Memphis last year. Dave and Judy, we love you. I see. Yeah, Chris, Carme. Thank you very much to the Carme family. Gianna, she's a really good friend. And anyway, thank you, Troy and Beth, Spencer. Thank you guys very much. I'm gonna show you the wine list again before I disconnect. So yeah, this is Castello Tricerchi 43, Castiglion del Bosco 53, Podere Le Ripi 45, Albatretti 53, Pietroso 60, Mastroianni 60. Then you have the deals. Yeah, you can take a photograph of this, but I'm gonna send you the price list tomorrow when I wake up. Actually, probably the after tomorrow, since tomorrow it's olive harvest, and my father Adriano is thrilled to finish. He's looking forward to finish the olive picking. Okay, I go back to the screen. Hey, Tommy from Alabama. Do you guys? I'm gonna activate your audio.
Hello.
Hello.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
So, Tommy, we never had the chance to meet. We met online, so I'm so happy to see you, and I'm very much looking forward to see you guys here in Tuscany next year, when this hopefully will turn into a better planet.
Hello.
Oh, look, it's you guys. It's amazing. Huge response from Alabama. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, fun.
Thank you, Selvis. Ciao.
Ciao.
Okay, Stephen Davidia, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys. It's beautiful to see you.
You really did a great job today. You really did.
Oh,
the lineup.
You guys are fans.
Well, the lineup was perfect, and I really like the order. You know, I think
This one.
Sure.
This.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is a private business. Let's keep it a private business. Send me an email tomorrow, Steve and Stefano and Davidia.
ciao, molto
Ciao.
grazie di
I love you
ancora.
guys. Grazie mille.
Ciao, ciao.
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 Grazie.
Congratulations for your hats.
Yes, thank you.
Much love. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I think we were supposed to last for 1 hour, 30 minutes. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes. Quite an achievement for me. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Thanks to the Carmen family. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Gianna. Yep, there you go. Again, Instagram Perbacco Wine Club, Facebook Perbacco Wine Club, YouTube Osteria del Borgo, perbaccomontepulciano.com /masterclasses, perbaccomontepulciano@gmail.com. Thank you guys very much. It's been an honor. See you in 2 weeks. Much love from me and from these two beautiful girls. Have a good night. We go to sleep. We probably finish the bottles and we go to sleep. Ciao. See you guys in 2 weeks. Ciao, ciao.